Welcome back to another episode of Tinfoil Hat.
Tinfoil Hat.
Tinfoil Hat.
Come with me into the waters of conspiracy with Sam Tripoli.
Sam Tripoli.
Sam Tripoli.
Sam Tripoli.
Mr. Sam Tripoli.
With my friend Ryan Davis.
Hi, Ryan.
We're like
doing
the first
this
gay
'cause-
couple of conspiracy theories.
I think it's beautiful, man.
Hold up there, partner. Say that again.
It's some mystical, deep, dark realm, crazy shit.
Wake up, Aaron. There's reptile people everywhere.
Hey man, where's the truth there, dog?
Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted. Yeah, we are back in the bunker. That's right, guys. Welcome to another fun and festive episode of Tinfoil Hat. I am Sam Tripoli. Join me as well. Hey, you mother of mercy.
Welcome back to another
No,
episode.
I don't want to be back to another episode. There we go. Bam. Dude, the AIs are taking over, bro. The computers are taking over and they want to hear their jam again. The computers like me on Spotify. When I hear Vanilla Ice Ice Baby, I just keep playing that about 5 times in a row. Right? One more time. I went 5 in a row listening to that. Join me as always is my Ace Boom Cool, one of my favorite people on the planet. The one and only Ryan Davis, everybody.
I am a bumblebee.
Yes, joining us. That's great. We have a lot of stuff going on, but before we introduce our guest, let's get into the business. Real quick, we guys, the Tinfoil Hat Twitter is going insane. That's right. Go check it out. Tinfoil Hat Cast on Twitter. People love it. It's where I put all the news that needs to be reported. It's where I do all the good news. So go check that out on Twitter. Then, of course, everybody's loving the Tinfoil Hat on Reddit. Go to reddit.com/r/tinfoil hat show. Go check that out. Everybody's updating. That's where you guys can communicate with each other. Right now, there are 6 users using it. So I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, I want to see this used as a dating app. I
Yeah.
want there to be a tinfoil hat child born in the next 10 months. So.
There are some ladies of Tinfoil Hat, and we appreciate them. We appreciate the ladies. They're getting the shirts and everything. Guys, go get your shirts now, too. Go to allcomedytshirts.com. Click the Tinfoil Hat, and dude, we got some great stuff. In particular, I love this one, the Tinfoil Hat Question Everything t-shirt. Man, that's me as the Mad Hatter, as the hair is the one and only everybody's favorite Ryan Davis. And look who's a little sleepy guy with multicolored nipples. That's Aaron the mouse right there. Guys, and listen, I gotta be honest with you, man. I am blown away that we've sold out of a couple different things. All the Stevie Weeby shirts are sold out. That's fucking amazing. And then which is pissing me off right here, is I got to get a hoodie. The Tinfoil Hat hoodies are sold out. We got a couple new shirts up here. We got the Biker Jesus and the Mind Blown t-shirts. And we're about to put up another very special Praise Jesus, Hail Satan shirt. Those are going to be up. So get those t-shirts now. We appreciate all your support on that. The Instagram is jumping. Go to Instagram, put in Tinfoil Hat Pod. We're over 2,000 followers. Ryan is killing it on there. So go support the show on Instagram. And guys, we're proud to announce the Patreon is rocking. We got 3 Patreons with $4 dollars. We appreciate everything. There's 2 tiers. There's a $2 tier and the $3 tier. And basically what's going to be happening is we did our first recording last night. That should be up soon. That's going to be up. It's going to be a weekly special bonus episode every week on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/tinfoil hat. And we're also going to be interviewing different people on videos, different, like, hey, what are you into? Conspiracies, celebrities, comics, hot chicks, whatever. We're going to interview them and just support the show. Now, you're like, dude, everybody's hitting us up for cash. Our goal with this Patreon is to get enough money that Ryan and I we want to travel the world looking at different conspiracies.
Oh yeah.
Like we want to go all over the place to the pyramids. Where else do we want to go?
Sam
Rome.
being Armenian, I want to take him to Turkey so you can get into a fight.
Dude,
with
that's
some
fucking
people.
rude, bro.
But no.
Wait, this is a place of love.
There's a place called Darren Kuru that I think you would very much enjoy.
I want to go like to Rome and look at all the crazy stuff going on at the Vatican and all that shit.
I did that for us, guys. We're okay.
Oh yeah. And you
Nothing
remember
to see
I
there.
retweeted it? You remember when I retweeted that?
Finally.
Yeah, I did. Don't worry about that, homeboy. It got retweeted, okay? So that's what we're looking into. Tons of content will be on the Patreon. We would love for you to either become part of the League of Owls or the Trinidad of Troublemakers. Please join us. We promise you will get the best in conspiracy, paranormal, and spiritual skepticism.
Yeah, we recorded from the basement of the Comedy Store, and last night Larry David was there, and the week before it was Dr. Dre. So I'm not saying we're going to get those guys, but you never know. There's all sorts of killers.
And let me
at the
tell you
store.
something. It is such a safe place that people admit to some crazy shit on the show, and we get real fucking honest, and we learn a whole bunch of stuff about Ryan that nobody knew before that.
Oh yeah, definitely tune into the first one. We get real.
We get real. We get real quick. Real quick. So that's that. And a big announcement. Okay, this weekend, if you're listening to this when it came out, the first ever, the inaugural All Things Comedy Festival is going on in Phoenix, Arizona. What is the website? allthingscomedyfestival.com.
Yes.
Go to that, grab your tickets. The Punch Drunk is doing a live podcast, and I'll be doing stand-up out there. Next year, Tinfoil Hat will be there. But you're like, Sam, we want a live podcast again. We loved the last one so much. We want another one. Never fear. Tripoli is here. November 8th, it will be the next live Tinfoil Hat Higher Side Chat podcast in San Diego, technically La Jolla, at the Comedy Store. It is Wednesday night, November 8th. We are doing another live one. Greg Carwood, Eddie Bravo will be there. The Lion, the Goof will be here, and we're going to be there. And plus another guy will be joining us doing the little stand-up. So this is it. We had 2 rooms at the Ice House. Aaron was there, got mobbed by people, couldn't even enjoy himself, had to leave. You know, he's like, fuck, I'm just a person. And they were just all over him.
They're yelling at him to wake up.
Wake up, Aaron. He's like, I'm up. What do I got? Smoke meth? Jesus. Aaron, what'd you think of the live show?
It was great. Everybody killed, yeah.
How great was Brandon Walsh screaming at everybody?
Brendan Walsh taking down a Trump supporter was one of the best things I've ever seen.
That's what that show's about.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this show to people who are fans?
Everybody.
So,
Go see it.
So we had 2 rooms and both were packed. So what we're doing now is we're doing it all in one show. So for $20 at the La Jolla Comedy Store, you get about an hour of podcasting with an hour of stand-up first with an hour of podcasting after. So it's going to be one night. It's the Tinfoil Hat, Higher Side Chat, Swabcast live at the La Jolla Comedy Store. You can get that at thecomedystore.com. Tickets are available now.
And since we're talking about the Ice House, we get a lot of art given to us. And man, one of our fans, a guy by the name of Ronald Fiegel Art on Instagram. I'll put a little link in the show notes. He gave us these hand-painted, and I know you can't see in the footage here, but if you go on, Sam, we're going to have a little repost of it. It's amazing. We really
look at this one. I love this one. This is going to be one of our new logos.
So
it's Mad Hatters.
I've been telling Sam, I feel like so much of our listeners are creative people with like an outlet, and we're just happy that you guys have chosen us.
Some of our fans are bigger, more creative than we are.
Big time.
We are. So let's get into the show. We got a great show. A lot of people have been asking us to do a topic on this. Some of you guys are asking for the Vegas shooting. That will be dropping this Wednesday. We did a swapcast with Tate Fletcher and Pirate Radio. That will be dropping on Wednesday. So let's get into today's guest and what you guys want to talk about.
So something special about our show is that our theme song was done by an artist named Detective 47. And the way that all came about is I stepped outside my own realm of staring into my cell phone while I was at a coffee shop in Hollywood. I was on Sunset at a place called...
You guys like this weird kind of side coffee shop. It's a very tiny coffee shop.
Yeah, it's called Enigma Cafe or Enigma Coffee on Sunset. I call it Perv Coffee because it looks directly at like a waxing studio and like...
Is that a waxing studio or a dance studio?
It might as well be both because the hottest of hotties come in and out of there. So
Creep are gonna creep.
Yeah, so I was sitting there just staring at the beautiful like scenery of influx of beautiful women coming in and out. And I happened to make eye contact. I looked up from my cell phone. And I see the same guy kind of, we just gave like the, the smile, like, yeah, it's a pretty good spot, huh? And we started striking up a conversation. And in the conversation, he was like, yeah, I'm a creative, I got a little creative project. I'm an artist. I make music produce. And I was like, dang, that's cool. I got a little thing going. So we're looking for a theme song. Maybe it'll work out. So next thing you know, that theme song you just heard opening was done by Detective 47.
Please welcome to the show, Detective 47.
Great to be here, guys.
Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. We're
appreciate
fans
you
of
having
yours. We constantly get hit up by our listeners going, hey, who wrote that song? What is your intro? Who created it? Where can I get the intro? Where can I get that song? So tell us a little bit about the intro and why you did it and how it came to be.
Well, that intro is actually a song that was originally called War in 2030. And it used to be, before we performed that song with an old band of mine called Small Flowers a while back. But what I wanted to announce to you guys is I wanted to release a full remix of the song for you guys, dedicated to you, because that's about a 5-minute song you're hearing there. And what in the intro, what we got, like maybe about a minute and 20 of it, something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to put a lot more together for you so the fans can hear the whole thing.
So it's going to be a 5-minute jam of conspiracies, paranormal, and,
I'm just going to get weird with it and see where it goes, but...
I'm loving it, dude. I'm loving it.
And why 47?
Well, 47's been, it's been a number that's been following me around for at least since the late 90s. One thing, I used to be coined 47 because my initials are AK, so people used to just call me AK-47 when I was initially making music back in the late 90s.
That's a good strand of weed, if you're not a
Yeah,
smoker.
that's a good strand of bud as well. But the number itself has been, over the past 3 to 4 years, it's been following me around just quite a lot. I always see it in different places, whether it just pops up on the clock. Like, I've had weird days where, I'll talk to my mother, and she'll be like, oh, I just won 247 off a scratch-off. The weirdest one that happened to me was my old spiritual teacher, the great Lisa Maria, who was a Qigong master. She passed away a few years ago, and one of the days where I was having all these little gems of these 47s hit me, my buddy, who studied under her too, sends me a text. He goes, hey, it's Lisa's birthday coming up. So I look down on the phone. It's that day, and it happens to be April 7th. Which is 4-7 right there. So, the esoteric part of me starts thinking, is this messages from my old teacher popping out telling me to keep rolling with this thing?
I like that. And what we're talking about, I remember one of the first real comments, because you started listening to the podcast, and Sam said something, that lady looks like she owns 47 cats. And you're like, man, 47 speaking to me through your podcast.
Oh,
Sam.
man. I get it every day at some point or another. I'm going to start documenting.
Number.
Yeah.
That's your number.
Do you have a number, Sam?
I'm just trying to think do I have a number? I don't think I have a number. I mean, I could go, 69, but I don't have a number, dude.
Of all the sports guys that have like numerical features on the back of their jerseys, you don't have a...
I would love to say 32. Ooh.
No.
I'd love to say that. Do you have a number?
19.
Why is your number 19?
I was born on the 19th, but my favorite book series is The Dark Tower. And if anyone who's read the actual Dark Tower, not that piece of crap that came out a couple months ago, it's all about 19. And it was like speaking through me for years when I'd read it. I'm like,
28 is a big number for me. So it's the day of my birthday, but it's like I always see 28s everywhere.
do you play that number in Vegas?
I do. I do Powerball. It's two of the numbers. My birthday's 10/28, so I always play those numbers.
And something special about today, we've been talking about this topic for a while, and people ask us, what we're going to talk about is the Mandela effect.
Boom, Mandela effect.
And you're like, dude, I'm really interested in that shit. And I was like, good, because it's a hard one to unpack. It's kind of kooky, but it's very fascinating in its own way. And you're like, is there any chance we could do it on the 47th episode? And I was like, you got it, man. 47th.
It just really worked out that way too, didn't it? It was pretty natural.
Yeah, it did. It did work out that way. We kind of talked a little bit about the Mandela effect when we did the CERN episode long time ago, but that was just a small part of that much bigger thing, and I think we're going to get a little into that again towards the end of the episode.
Totally.
But it is an amazing thing, and there's always new things popping up that makes, that the Mandela effect just, you're like, whoa, dude, that's crazy. Some people call it glitch in the Matrix.
Yep.
There's these weird things. Mandela. Let's get into what do you think the Mandela effect is?
So let me give you the description that comes from the Mandela effect. So the Mandela effect refers to a phenomenon in which a large number of people share false memories of past events referred to as confabulation in psychiatry. Some have speculated that the memories are caused by parallel universes spilling into our own, while others explain the phenomenon as a failure of collective memory.
Which is interesting, dude. I could see either of them, But it is weird when universally we all accept something that isn't correct. And there wasn't really a poll, or there wasn't an email blast, or there wasn't anything like that just said, oh, dude, this is what it is, and we all agreed upon it. It's just this weird herd mentality type thing where it's just spread across large groups of people, and we all really, buy into it.
Totally.
Well, it's been built. Some of these memories are just built into, the conscious, especially across with some of these movies. Forrest Gump, all of Snow White. We got so many examples that are just throughout history that it's like, fuck, man, you can't even imagine.
So the origin originally comes from 2010. A blogger named Fiona Broom coined the term the Mandela effect.
Really? It's only been since 2010?
Yeah.
I think it was 2009. Maybe she was at the Dragon Con where it first sparked up.
And what is that Dragon Con?
That's a convention where it's, a lot of fantasy gamers. You got a lot of folklore and stuff there. It's just kind of
nerds.
All types of,
Everything's
pretty much.
a con. Who was the first con? Comic-Con?
Yeah.
That become it, and then everybody's a con now?
I mean, probably DEF CON, if we're going to go that deep. No.
DEF CON 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little different.
So she was at this convention, and somehow she started talking to people, and the idea of there's a collective of people that had a false memory that Nelson Mandela, the South African president, died during his imprisonment in the 1980s. And that year, Broom launched the website, which is still up, called the Mandela or MandelaEffect.com, to document various examples of this phenomenon.
Okay, so basically the event is that there are people that believed in their hearts of hearts that they remember seeing Nelson Mandela die in prison, and they actually remember the funeral, if I'm correct. They actually remember the whole ceremony, the driving of the casket and all that stuff. That's what they remember. And in fact, we honestly know that didn't happen, that he actually walked out of prison and divorced his wife and probably banged a bunch of hot young South Africans.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, there's one other... There's a funny one you can see is George W. Bush making a quote in 2006 on a podium where he's saying Mandela is dead. Another one that recently came out that I found interesting is there's a guy on the web claiming there's a book called, I believe it was called English. Man, I forget the title of it right now, but it's in the book saying that he's dead. And he's claiming that this is one of the proofs, a little glitch in there that, it's a book published in 92, claiming that he was dead then.
So the idea is that we somehow slipped into an alternate reality.
Well, is it that it slips in the ultimate reality, or do the realities just kind of overlap each other and then, in a weird kind of...
Well, there's so many different ways. People are coming at it from biblical standpoints to computer simulation to the big one is, different multiverses. We're colliding with a different universe, and our memory, whoever's experiencing those memories we're now in a different universe.
Well, there's a belief that every action you take, there is another action, and that's another universe that goes a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything you do there, it's almost like a choose-your-own adventure.
Yeah, you get to a stop sign, and instead of going left, you went right. And then since all these parallel universes are stacked on top of one another in multiple dimensions, the idea of deja vu is when you're at that stop sign and you have that feeling of, I've been here before. But it's not that you've been here before, it's that you are right now all lined up with the left and the right, and you could potentially go straight into the tree.
Yeah.
So that's why you have that weird feeling. Like, when was the last time you experienced deja vu, Sam?
The other day, Dana and I were like, we both experienced it. We were both about to walk Pollyanna up, and then we had Maverick, who's our friend's dog, Sarah's dog. And Dana just goes, man, I just got deja vu. And I was like, you know what, me too. Like, we'd been at this moment before. I get deja vu all the time. You know what else I used to have? I used to experience my reality from outside myself as a child.
That's they call it OBE, out-of-body experience.
Yeah. I don't know if that falls under this, but I used to all the time have memories of outside myself.
Like,
Yeah, that's kind of like an astral projection right there when you're getting outside of yourself, viewing yourself.
I remember a very specific one of my cousin Lisa coming over, and I remember viewing it from the outside, watching me run up to her to hug her when she came into the thing. That was one of many. I used to have them all the time as a kid.
It's interesting when you're a child how much different things you can tap into, and then as you grow older, get conditioned by the system, how that grows kind of lessons afterwards.
Well, there's also the fact that, it's like I don't know, you've lived a lot of life. You've done a lot of amazing things being a Detective 47. I'm sure the amount of DJ and crime solving has brought you all over the universe, But, you go meet a friend of yours from high school, and he's like, dude, you remember in third grade when we stole those lollipops? You're like, I don't remember any of that. And it was very funny because one of the greatest seasons of a sitcom ever was Eastbound and Down. And, I mean, that hit what I think sitcoms should be like. And he has that line where he's hitting on that chick who is like the universal, like, she's the thick, hot girl in Hollywood. Whenever they need a thick, hot girl, they bring her in because she's got this gorgeous face, but she's kind of thick. Yeah. So middle America women will be like, I like her.
She's sexy. I don't know the actress's name.
You know who I'm talking about, but she's hot as shit, and she's super thick, and he's like trying to impress her, and he's like, no, and Eastbound Down guy's like, no, I don't remember that because, when we go out, I lived a lot of life. And when you live a lot of life, you got to, get rid of old memories and make room for new memories. And, the more you've done in life, the more you kind of have to, not that you lose them, but you kind of make room for new ones. So it's like yeah, and you are set in your ways in a weird way, too, as well. It's like in terms of Hollywood, like they stop catering to you or advertising you at a certain age because they know at a certain point you've set your tastes and standards and you can't necessarily fall for their tricks of advertising. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas 18-year-olds are like, that looks good. She's got big tits and the pumpkin's got a knife. You're like, that's dog shit.
And they're sold completely.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to go through a couple of these examples with Aaron on the headphones too, because he's kind of he's our touchstone for, I know me and Sam are two sides of the same crazy coin. I would say that like Aaron would be if the coin landed right on its side, that one Twilight Zone episode. And I wanted to go through a couple of these, and I'm not giving you them you just tell me which way you remember.
Okay.
What comes immediately to your mind. So pop it out at any time, Aaron.
Okay.
The logo of Fruit Loops. Is Fruit Loops spelled L-O-O? Is it fruit, the classic F-R-U-I-T, loops? Or is it F-R-O-O-T, loops?
I thought it's Aaron, I'm going to defer to you.
It's UIT.
I think it's UIT.
That is the way that people remembered it in the other universe. The way it is right now, if you go into a store and you pick up Fruit Loops, it's
Double O.
Double O.
Come on.
Yeah, don't even try to look for it. So
okay,
the next one.
Okay.
We got a lot of them coming. So.
Captain Crunch.
Okay.
Is
Why are we just doing breakfast? I think you're saying something about Aaron.
We're getting through. We're going to go through
and
logos.
I think it's rude, Aaron. I think it's rude. I think you're in great shape. For a guy who doesn't work out, you're in great shape. Come on.
So Captain Crunch, the type of the only cereal food that like.
You're great. Come on, Aaron. It's a joke.
So
You know I love
Captain
you.
Crunch, is it Captain spelled the classic way, Captain, or is it Captain CAPN Crunch?
I think it goes with N.
Apostrophe N. Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Okay.
at
That's
Art.
the way
So
it
right
is,
now
yeah.
you're having two conflicting memories. You remember one being one way, one the other. Febreze. Is Febreze with two E's or one E?
2 E's.
2 E's. Yeah.
One E in this dimension.
Oh, man.
That one fucked with me.
Yeah. Explain why, because we kind of, when we were going over this, we were like, no way, dude. Febreze has two E's.
We both thought, man, that's just one that just looks weird as soon as you see it, right?
Not normal people buy a lot of Febreze, but when you're an ex-stoner or a current stoner, you buy a lot of Febreze because you want to like take that skunk smell out of your car or out of your sheets. And so I was like, dude, I've looked at this bottle endless times. 1E. All right, Vicks Vapor Rub. Is it 3 words or is it Vicks Vapo Rub?
Okay, say it again.
Vicks Vapor Rub.
Okay.
3 words.
Okay.
Separated. Or 2 words. Vicks, and the second word is Vapo Rub. Just bam. What is it? What comes to your brain first?
Vapor Rub.
That is how it is currently, but it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't
man.
make sense to me either, and I just guessed because I couldn't remember either of them.
All right, here's one for Aaron.
Aaron.
How do you spell J.C. Penney?
It's J period piece, or C period penny. Penny's an EY.
What do you think, Sam? E-Y? Or penny, like how you spell penny?
With a Y.
So the way it is currently is with an E-Y.
What?
But the way that I always remember...
I always remember it with a Y. They had a
I just
giant
remember
JC
why in
pen.
that one. myself.
And 47 told me, you called someone in your family?
Well, that was one, I've been running these tests with just certain people, calling them up, trying to get some insight, and that was one my mother, who, shops there all the time, just flipped out over, wrote it out, and it was...
So if you're listening at home, you can go ahead, play along, and test your family members as well. Okay, Oscar Mayer. How do you spell Oscar Mayer? It's classic Oscar. How do you spell Mayer?
Meyers.
Just no S, but so Oscar Mayer. How do you spell it?
It's Mayer. That's the song.
Oscar Mayer?
Yeah.
Oscar Mayer, like John Mayer?
So
But it's
who's
pronounced
right?
Mayer. It's just
It's
pronounced
apparently
Mayer.
it's apparently Mayer, but that
Really?
doesn't. I don't see that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's in the song. My bologna has a first name. It's Oscar. My bologna has a second name. It's Mayer.
Oh, that's why, because he sings about his food. That's how he knows.
All
I
right.
don't know that.
Good enough. Okay, that's level 1. The next level is art, and this is a classic one in the Mandela Effect. A children's storybook is called.
Well, this is one of the famous ones that really got me sparked on the thing back in 2010, was the Berenstain Bears thing, which is the kids' book. You remember that, right, Sam?
Yes.
That really sparked a big storm on the internet back then, because a lot of people remember. How did you remember it, first off? You remember it Stein with an E, or
When you donated all your time to reading to blind children.
when you were watching these bears?
I know. I've seen this. It is a weird. It's Berenstain Bears.
Sounds right?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's Berenstain.
What?
Stain.
Really? Aaron, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't recall that. Yeah.
Berenstain.
I thought they were Jewish lawyers for the forest. They were Steens.
Do you know? Have you ever met a stain, a Berenstain?
I've never met a stain in my life.
Now, this one's interesting because you got tons of write-ups, and people really dove deep into this. And one of the guys who is a physicist, I believe, who went into it, actually got contacted by the son of the authors of the Berenstain books. And he corrected them, saying that it actually was an A, and everyone just mispronouncing it, and they've mispronounced his name throughout his whole life.
For years?
Yeah, because it's got the fucking A in there,
Right. All right. Another children's book one. Curious George.
Yes.
Picture him in your mind right now. Aaron, does Curious George have a tail?
Oh, God.
Just picture that little monkey.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with a creeper in
He has
a yellow hat.
Tail.
Yeah, I would think so, but I don't.
Apparently
recall. I never
in-
really read Curious George.
Yeah, apparently in our dimension, in this parallel universe we exist in now in 2017, Curious George never had a tail. And what's weird is these are older books. Without a Tail, it's kind of a story of a white man that adopts like a black son from Africa. Because without no tail, there's like the classic monkey imagery that they would use back in the way to like explain.
It's
black
pretty
people.
weird without a monkey without a tail, right? Just in general.
Now here's one for you, Sam, because I
Yes.
know this was
Well,
one of your favorite.
Wait a minute. Curious George is a chimp, is he not?
I don't know.
Chimps don't have tails. They're apes. They're not monkeys. Monkeys have tails. Apes don't.
Is he? Is he a chimp?
There
I believe so. With those ears.
Damn it! You killed it. All right, this is
That's
why
what
we're
I do.
doing this.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what I'm here for.
So this is one of
Ruin everybody's fun.
This is one of Sam's favorite films.
I love
of all
you, Aaron.
time. I know this is one of your favorite shows of all time. It had Sarah Jessica Parker.
Right.
And,
right.
So what is the name of that show from HBO?
Okay, it's Sex in the City.
Sex in the City.
In the City.
Aaron.
For some reason, my first instinct was it's Sex and the City.
That's what it is currently. It's
Well,
Sex.
Aaron's just getting them all. So
Aaron,
he's from this dimension we're
Aaron
in right
is
now.
a dimension traveler. We've said that before on the show. He goes in and out of dimensions.
All right, I got
Well,
one.
what do you guys think of some of the more popular ones where there's a little bit of glitches in the Matrix? Like, for example, one of the most famous ones right now is the old classic on the Star Wars film from that Episode 4, when Darth Vader's with Luke at the end scene, and there's the classic "I am your father" scene when Darth Vader says,
Yes.
James Earl Jones voice.
Luke
What is
goes-
That would be Episode 5, sir.
Oh,
Okay,
geez.
you're perfect. So how do you remember that little banter going?
I know everyone gets it wrong. Everyone misquotes that sucker.
Yeah.
It's not Luke, I am your father.
It is Luke, I am your father.
That's not how it goes. Yeah.
So it's no, I am your father.
Yes, he says. Yeah, no.
That's what
I
it
am
is.
your father. Yeah.
Now, one of the weird things about that is there's an interview with James Earl Jones years later where in the interview he quotes saying, "Luke, I am your father."
I mean, I wouldn't put it past George Lucas to have fucked with that in the reissues or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, I know.
Right.
I've watched it since, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're always getting this wrong.
I think it's Luke, I am your father.
It's an interesting one. This is why we're doing it, because it's like, are we collectively remembering things correct or wrong?
Right,
or what's going on?
right.
So here's another one. And not all of us are religious or biblical scholars, but Isaiah 11:6. In it says, there's an example for two creatures laying down together. And one is a lamb. And it
Okay.
says, nowadays, in the whole world we live in, it's wolf and lamb will lay down together.
Okay.
But everyone remembers it as lion and lamb lay down together.
Yeah.
Because you would see those
Yeah.
paintings.
In like a lion, out like a lamb.
So that's one of the weirder ones where
Everyone thinks it's a wolf. No, everyone thinks it's a lion, but it's really a wolf.
apparently the scriptures now in a Bible, if you open one up, it's going to say wolf and lamb lay down together.
Fuck, man.
When have you ever heard of wolves in the Bible? You know?
Did you know that?
That one is just weird to me, but I don't study the Bible too deeply. So.
What do you think Aaron, thoughts?
Oh yeah, there are no wolves in Egypt.
There's no wolves in Egypt.
So yeah,
Why would they say that?
Smart. I didn't think about that angle.
it should be. Yeah, it should be lion.
Should be lion.
So here's one. Capital cities. Here's a geography one. Now, I know Sam definitely knows this one.
Okay.
Arizona. What is the capital? Before saying it, have it in your mind. Aaron, what is the capital?
Phoenix, we're going there.
I think it's Tucson.
I thought apparently some people believe that it used to be Flagstaff. Now it's Phoenix.
It is?
And I remember growing up, why would I remember Flagstaff? I'm from California. I had to remember these capitals of the cities. Why would I remember Flagstaff?
Why?
I don't know. So,
'Cause it's a weird word.
all right, Tennessee.
Flagstaff.
What about it?
What's the capital of Tennessee?
I can't even spell Tennessee.
It's a hard one.
I'm going to
Is
go
it
with
Knoxville or is it Nashville?
it's wherever they make Jack Daniels.
Of those two, it'd be Knoxville.
That is the one that people remember. The one it is currently is Nashville. And that's another one. I'm like, why the hell would I know Knoxville before Jackass?
I've never heard of Knoxville.
Yeah. All right, and then, so this is like, it goes beyond the realm of media and pop culture. It's literally going into like official titles.
Okay.
The Smithsonian Institution or the Smithsonian Institute?
Oh, man. Institution.
In this realm, it's institution, but I've always remembered it as Smithsonian Institute. I mean, what the hell?
That is
All right,
crazy.
This one's just for Sam.
Okay.
What does DEA stand for? The first one's fun.
DEA, Drugs Enforcement Agency?
What is it, Aaron?
Yeah, that's what I.
It's the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Ah.
Oh, well, yeah.
What the fuck, though? That's like, it's very
Could just be
minuteness.
your own ignorance.
Just little words.
Or I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
Or too many drugs, huh? So the idea behind all this, there's so many theories.
It's administration?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they're handing out drugs, which we all know they are.
Yeah, right.
I should have known that. I should have known that.
Yeah.
There's such crazy shit out there.
All right, here's history. What day is Thanksgiving on? This is only for us Americans. All you Aussies and you Brits that are listening. Thanksgiving,
Scottish.
Yeah, and all the Scots and the people, we have a big following in Dubai. So, assalamu alaikum to you guys, man. So, this one, what day is Thanksgiving on?
It's the third Thursday in November.
25th?
what, like Aaron said, what Thursday would it be?
Third Thursday?
It's the fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday. Okay.
But that's my whole life. I remember the third Thursday. What the hell? What did you remember on the Thanksgiving?
I thought it was the fourth Thursday.
So we're like split right down the middle. Here's a very.
Are we keeping score?
We're about even.
Okay.
So Tiananmen Square.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What happened in Tiananmen Square? The most famous, iconic thing.
Man, just like
You guys
most
remember Tank
Asian
Boy?
drivers, the guy drove like shit. He hit somebody. Am I right?
Aaron, what happened in Tiananmen Square?
I don't recall even learning about this, so I don't have a great memory of it.
Okay.
They didn't teach that in San Diego.
So Sam, do you
They really
remember
didn't.
Tank Boy stopping the tank, or was he crushed by the tank?
I remember him getting crushed by the tank.
That would be my recollection.
In this realm, Tank Man stopped the tank. You're telling me he stopped the communists that were coming for him? Like, I remember always the video cutting.
Well, it was
cutting
very
away.
interesting.
Yeah,
that,
there's
like,
a lot of people who have memories of frightened memories in childhood, seeing this guy get ran over.
It just ran over.
And blood on the street.
But that could also be from propaganda, from us being told he got ran over.
Totally.
And,
Yeah,
he
they're
really
cutting
didn't.
away,
yeah.
for sure.
They're like, oh, he got killed. Trust us. Trust us.
What I remember is he's holding 2 shopping bags, and so I was
Yeah.
like, "Dang, dude, capitalism is being crushed by communism." Like, that's what I distinctly remember. Like,
He's like, paper or plastic?
so that's one of the weird ones. All right, this one goes to the image there.
Okay, here we go.
Sam's actually been singing songs all day about this.
Did you want me to be in a certain
No,
place?
it's going to be the image of the one gentleman and his eyes.
Okay.
So this refers to, Aaron, what
Hold
color
on.
do you remember Hitler's eyes being?
I know that he wanted an Aryan race of blue-eyed, blonde-haired people, but he had brown eyes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So on the left, we have Hitler with brown eyes. And that's obviously a photograph that's been touched up, but why would they not touch it up? So then there's a photograph. In the old realm, the old universe, people remember Hitler with brown eyes. And apparently in this existence, Hitler had bright blue, like beautiful freaking eyeballs.
So he did have blue eyes?
He did have blue eyes, and there's some explanation saying that because of the quality of photos back then, that you wouldn't be able to see.
They don't
The
even
color
look
of
like
it.
the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, most of what I know from that era is black and white anyway. Movies.
He doesn't even look like the same dude.
I recall it just being well
By the
documented.
way,
that
this
he,
guy looks like you with a mustache, by the way. You're just like Detective 47. Boom.
Well,
I'll
that
have
whole,
to get-
yeah, like you were saying, it's well documented.
I just recall growing up, that he didn't resemble any of the parts of the Aryan race,
Yeah. That's one of the weird ones. And to me, I thought, I was like, what the hell?
Did you ever hear the theory he's a Rothschild? That he's actually a Rothschild.
Now, you have a video there. For those that aren't watching, which majority of you guys are listening, it's going to be one of the first videos. Yeah, there was VW. So this has to do with logos. And we had it queued up, so maybe bring it a little bit forward. So the Volkswagen logo is a V and a W, and it's separated in this realm. Go ahead and back it up just a little bit there. Just a little. So the V and the W are separated by a line.
Oh, here we go.
But this comes from the movie Back to the Future. Move it up to about like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right, I'll tell you when. Keep on going.
Okay.
Go ahead, press play. Right there.
Right now?
Right, yeah, just press play. And so you can just, in your own head at home, do you remember the Volkswagen having no separation between the V and the W? What the fuck? Just let it play. What do you remember, Aaron?
I recall them being separated, but
This is from Back to the Future, the very first one. And so in it shows, what are they, the
Well,
letters?
in this one shows the V or the W being connected. And then as the scene goes on, it splits.
Oh, shit. You're totally right.
So you're
It's
telling me-
connected.
And it makes sense in an iconic way that you would just, back in the day, use to. So
Whoa.
it's a very minute differences in our reality, whether.
Whoa.
Yeah, and this one, there's a funny example. There's a guy who's really pissed off because I guess back in the 90s, he got this logo tattooed on his arm with the fucking thing as the old version, and now he's freaking out because he knew specifically what you're not going to go in and get a tattoo
Right.
and get the emblem wrong.
But why in that video is it, why in the video, so which one's the real one?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Should I Google it?
No.
I mean, what I would say is entirely possible is that it's a movie. They maybe shot the crash first, and then they had so they may have had multiple vans, and then it could be different years, and the logo shifted between those years, or it's just a really shitty copy of Back to the Future. Either one of those.
Once again, Aaron refusing to wake up.
All right.
Some of these historical things, though, I'd like to believe that we're living in a quantum leap scenario.
Okay.
And Sam Beckett's just going back and fixing stuff.
I respect that.
Mandela didn't die because Sam Beckett fixed
I
it.
respect the fuck
When are we
out
going to
of that.
remake that? Like they're remaking
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Well, they are actually making a Mandela Effect movie that's due out sometime next year.
Ashton Kutcher's a star.
Oh, God.
Right.
Sorry,
Really?
Butterfly effect joke.
Oh, there. Yeah, totally.
Really?
All right. So in the 80s, there was a character that, an actor who played Superman. What was his name?
Christopher Reeves.
How do you say his last name again?
Reeves.
What is it?
It's just
Aaron?
Christopher Reeve.
Right down the middle again. So people remember it being Reeves.
Because the original black and white TV was George Reeves
With an S.
with an S. Yeah.
So our universes are getting crossed.
You're just confusing the two. It's the same character. You're confusing the two. I think that this could be that too. Like we have so much history and so much pop culture stuff in our heads that they like the multi-dimension theory. They're just piling on top of each other, and therefore just condensing in our memories because our heads do like to condense
Yeah, and
stuff.
our minds resort out information.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Madonna. Is that her real name?
No.
So that's just like a made-up name?
Oh wait, shit. No, it is her real first name.
Is it?
What do you remember, Sam? You dated Madonna for a brief moment.
Does she have a real name?
Yeah.
I think she does.
So people remember her name being Maria Ciccone. And
Ciccone, yeah.
nowadays they're saying her name is Madonna Ciccone. You're telling me an Italian was she raised in Brooklyn or somewhere like that?
Detroit.
Some other trash hole. Sorry, Detroit. But Madonna, you're going to name your child Madonna?
Well, there's also, what about the Sinbad thing? Where everybody thought Sinbad was in a genie movie.
A lot of people confuse that for the Shaquille O'Neal movie, Kazam.
Because there was a commercial in which he was in
Where he
which
played
he
a
was
genie,
dressed
right?
like a genie. So everyone took.
Well, he still continues to wear Zubaz pants.
Yeah,
He kind of always looks like a genie.
he has such a weird.
Plus his name's Sinbad. That kind of sounds like a genie name as well.
right?
Sinbad was funny, man.
Still is.
He still is.
I met him once. He's the nicest guy.
He's still around?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude.
Yeah.
In my reality, Sinbad, he overdosed, apparently.
In your reality,
Yeah, dude. I
Sinbad,
distinctly remember that.
Redbone's dead?
Yeah, dude. Bummer.
It's my first celebrity sighting. I was at Disneyland in line for Splash Mountain, and there he goes with his kids on a log, and I just flipped out one of those disposable cameras and boom, took the shot. I still have that photo.
Aw.
Splash Mountain.
That's and Sebastian said the best bit about that, about how like back in the day you'd have to take multiple pictures and hope one of them was good.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Like there was a time where you could not see what picture you got, and you hoped you got the shot.
I went to film school, man. You'd shoot entire projects, 3-day weekend, shoot all weekend, and be like, God, I hope that came out. Ugh. Hate that.
And so what some of the theories that people believe, it has all roads lead back to CERN when it comes to weird shit, especially
CERN's a big one. And then if we pull up the clip with the scientists here in 2014, I think it was November 3rd, CERN released a video where they're all dancing to the Happy song by Pharrell. And this is the weirdest shit, and it was this scientist.
You want me to run this
right
video?
here?
Yeah, talk about it for those that are listening.
Well, if you cue in, he's playing peekaboo with this piece of paper that says "We are happy at CERN." Then he's got Bond, and then Mandela. Now, the first Bond movie, the lead actor, I believe, is Barry Nelson, and then you have Mandela. So you put those two together, and then you have Nelson Mandela.
Whoa!
Another weird thing in the video is there's a scene with some guys dancing. On the bottom left corner, there's 4664, which has a meaning because 4664 has something to do with Mandela Day, and that happened to be the number of his prison. When he was in prison, that was his number in the prison was 4664.
Crazy.
Also, you have these people dancing, doing signs of Shiva and one thing, two people smashing together, forming another atom.
So yeah, the thought is that at CERN they have the world's largest. We did an episode on it.
Yeah.
With the great and wonderful.
It's evil.
Yeah. So the Large Hadron Collider is located at CERN, and they're
There you
thinking
go. There's
that
the Shiva shot.
yeah, they're thinking that if you smash an atom and you destroy it, by destroying something as small as an atom, it could affect the entire universe. And so that by destroying atoms in CERN, that we've like crossed over into.
Why does he have Mandela?
Very weird, right?
And
But
why is it now over his face?
And he does, yeah. for
Now he
those-
starts doing the peekaboo thing. He moves that where he's almost saying, "Now you see me, now you don't."
And why doesn't he clean his office? How many papers can you have?
He definitely looks like an outtake.
It's just so weird. Basically, if you guys are listening at home, there's a picture of an office. The guy who looks like Santa Claus's brother, if he just decided not to get into Christmas, but just fucking make pop brownies for the rest of his life and grow fucking shrooms, right? So he's sitting at this desk. It looks like something, picture like a 1970s office. And literally, there's... How big is that desk? This guy got
Huge.
like look at that, Aaron. That is like 5 feet worth of paper, man.
He's a hoarder.
He's a hoarder. This guy's hoarding people's fucking their book reports.
Now there's the 4664 in this shot on the bottom left.
That is crazy. Now that's
so.
oh my God. What is what does that mean? What does that mean?
So that was his number when he was in prison.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So 4664, that was at CERN. There's a picture of CERN.
There's a little Shiva.
She's wearing American Horror Story. Why are you wearing that shirt at CERN? Somebody's putting out fucking Craigslist ads looking for fucking 464 roses to get weird with Mandela.
So the other thing that we were talking about, 47, was you were telling me about a story about someone who, through a DMT trip, started to come.
Okay, yeah. One of the theories too that's been out there is with everything you guys have talked about, computer simulation theory.
Not yet, but a lot of tinfoil hat topics bleed into one another, and we're definitely going to do one down the line. Most likely with Brian Redband. We've already kind of tapped him for it, so somewhere soon.
Nice. Yeah, the theory behind that one is they're thinking that this whole Mandela effect has to do with inside of the simulation. Someone was able to tap into almost like the motherboard of reality and they're messing with the time sequence by just reprogramming different little codes as a social experiment. And right now they're just testing the waters by changing codes in little things within pop culture, and that's why you see changes within things that don't really matter, like some of the things we're talking about. It doesn't really affect you. There's a lot of
What about this? What if somebody actually could time travel and they went back and they started fucking with little things?
and just move. Yeah,
Dr. Samuel Beckett.
Yeah.
Quantum Leap.
I mean, that makes sense. You could time travel. If if everybody thinks time is just, there is no time, right?
Well, this was something that, well, I was telling you when we first really started talking at that coffee shop, game recognizes game. And me being an psychedelic head and pro, lover of acid and everything weird and trippy, I kind of asked you, I was like, you have ever messed around with it? And you told me some pretty interesting stories. I was wondering if, and I haven't told Sam about it, just so that you kind of tell it now.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about my ibogaine experience, some DMT blast-offs.
Yeah, go into the ibogaine, because that one is very fascinating.
Oh, real quick before you get into that, you forgot another one of the Nelson Mandela effects. Queen's We Are the Champion.
Oh, that's a huge one. And that one's got a pop culture reference that's recent, because you have James Corbin doing the sing-along on his TV show where he's got Clooney in the car, he's got Gwen Stefani and somebody else, and the song just ends and they're all waiting for that last lyric to pop out, and then Clooney jumps in and just sings it, and everybody's
So
kind of...
what do they think is missing?
Now, what they think is missing on that one is, and this one kind of messes with me too, but you hear it throughout the song, so it's one of those ones where I'm not sure which is right. It just seems, especially as a musician, it seems weird to me. At the end of the song, "We are the champions," you're expecting that conclusion line, "of the world." Now, it doesn't end that way anymore. You hear it twice in the song, but on the final moment of the song, I always expect it to go back and conclude there, and now it just ends, "We are the champions."
That is trippy. So go on. I want you to tell
that
Sam
one,
about
though, too, is there's a 1985 performance you can check out where they do end it with "of the world," which is kind of weird.
at like Wimbledon Stadium or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I want to see if we can find
Oh, here it is.
It's going to be way at the end. I hate this. Why do I want like a semi
there it is.
just
There
to...
it is.
Just didn't happen.
Oh my God, that's it. Look at it. How crazy is that?
Now, I'm a Queen fan, so I know they've released a few different mixes of these songs. So it might depend on the mix they have.
Oh, hey, look who it is. Captain Shit on our birthday cake.
Because there's a
Can
couple.
we have just a moment?
There's a
They have the
couple.
live version where it's got that ending.
Yeah, there's a couple different versions too, where it's like the song. Is it "I Want to Break Free"? Or there's different versions of that song out there. So yeah.
So
That's
I'm
crazy.
picturing a typical Saturday afternoon with Aaron. He's just hanging out in his MeUndies. He's eating some stuffed crust pizza. There's the Cardinals are on playing.
Hopefully.
He just
And
made love to his wife, like 30 seconds of just fury,
And he's just like
of just grunting.
dancing in his socks
sweating.
to Queen. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
Okay, real quick question. This is the Mandela effect. Do you guys remember Aaron making love with his socks on or his socks off?
Oh, definitely socks on.
He looks like Aaron looks like he's not gonna wait. Like he just wants to attack, and you don't want that.
Well, it's an easy one because if you know, because most people have never seen Aaron, he's a very dark. He's like Wesley Snipes black, and
Yeah.
all black guys make love with their socks on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I would definitely think he fucks with his socks on. That's just a weird thing that his wife had to get used to because she wanted her socks off. He's like, baby, this is how I make love, and this is how it goes. And he just leaves the socks on for sure.
Well, I wanted to get into this before we got out of here. I wanted you to tell him about the Apple game because I've been telling Sam to make sure he has his passport because we're going to go to Mexico soon.
So you were thinking about doing it?
I am
Explain it to
open
him.
to all things, homeboy.
It was a powerful experience for me.
So
it
explain
rocked
what
my
happened.
world.
You went to Mexico?
Yeah, I went to TJ to do it.
To what? To do that? Now, did you? That's a famous drug rehab. Our friend Skylar was on.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that do it out there. And you definitely should be careful where you go. I've heard stories about people going into some weird apartment, and then there's just someone
Real
administers
Sports has covered
them,
this
and
too.
then
What's that?
Real Sports on HBO has covered this too. Yeah.
About like people getting off of drugs by doing this.
it's got a pretty high success rate.
So break it down. Tell the story. The setting, and then just get into it.
The setting is I'm in downtown TJ. I'm at a facility with 6 others.
Is there a donkey show in Tijuana? Does anyone know if there's a donkey show?
That apparently really exists. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I didn't get to see the donkey show.
Do you want to see the donkey show?
I'm not interested.
Isn't
actually.
it weird that somebody who's located maybe a mile past the border suddenly has 0 rights, and now they have to get employment through blowing donkeys? Like, isn't that weird? But yet you go a mile the other way, they're marching because, Harvey Weinstein beat off in a fucking plant, and they're upset and they want their movie role. Isn't that weird? Like this weird kind of border changes the way people live their lives.
The real question is, what would it take for you to blow a donkey? What's the number? 10.
Start throwing numbers out.
3 million.
Yeah.
2 million.
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah.
10,000.
Are they filming it?
No.
How long do I have to suck?
You got to get it off, brother.
Okay, then no. It's got to be high.
You're never gonna.
No. I mean,
This isn't going to be in the bag of bets.
No.
All right, you heard it here first. If Tinfoil Hat gets to 100,000 on our Patreon, Sam will be in the studio live.
Are you guys going to film that from TJ?
No. No.
All right, but get into it before we get out of here. Let him know.
Well, the experience shit. To start off, once the effects of the ibogaine started kicking in,
It's in a clinical setting.
It's in a clinical setting. I'm with 6 others. There's a couple nurses there. I'm hooked up to an IV. Within maybe 45 minutes, you start hearing the sound of it almost sounds like some bees buzzing or like a radiator.
Right.
Starts getting louder and louder. And then I started feeling myself spinning in a circle, like my physical body was spinning. Start feeling very heavy. And then next thing you know, I'm seeing through my third eye, and I'm going up an elevator shaft from like the 1920s. Slow, just primitive elevator going up and going up and going up. And then I'm in front of, it gets me to the top of this big building that's like this Transylvania-style building with hundreds and hundreds of floors. And I'm just looking over across all these rooms with lights on them. And then I get all the way to the top, and the first door opens up, and it spits me off into a scene where I'm in pretty much like a kitchen that represents like my old house where I grew up in. And I'm like a toddler crawling around in this room it's like I'm in a 3-dimensional place.
Right.
And that was kind of my first vision, and then it's almost like some static comes over, and then I'm back in the elevator. The elevator goes down and starts going to all these different floors, and the doors open, and I'm having all these different experiences.
Crazy.
So that's where the majority of my night went, through these different things. I had a really healing experience, seeing one door open and just an image of my father there sitting at his desk. Yeah, just sitting at his desk with his Carnegie, almost like a Norman Rockwell-style painting with like a soundtrack playing. And I experienced a pretty deep healing with some stuff with him there that kind of translated over into
You had
our
a conversation with your dad.
It was more just a
Mentally.
vision with him there, and an appreciation of the man's life, and from a non-judging, loving perspective of everything about the man, who was my father. So that was just that alone was worth it in itself, that experience. But it got dark, and as I went to some lower levels, like for example, when everything was all good, and then one door opened, and there was a vision I had of my wife just sitting there, beautiful, and I have a thought like, what if something goes wrong? And as soon as I had that thought, a green demon slashed her image apart and then comes flying at me.
What?
And that was pretty much the moment where I realized it wasn't going to be all
sunshine and blue
Yeah,
skies.
exactly, yeah. So from there on out, it got a little. I realized the spirit of this plant was going to take me through some shit, and the most crazy hallucination I ever had, which actually happened. So when you're on this substance, you can't get up. You're like physically just.
You're tied down.
You're tied down, man.
Yeah.
And
are you freaking out? You're like, I'm in Tijuana tied down.
You're not physically tied down, right?
I'm not physically tied
Oh, I
down,
thought
but
you
I
were
do have an IV. You can't get up. It's just that you just feel paralyzed. So they say if you have to use the bathroom, put your hand up. They'll get some nurses to get you up to go to the bathroom. So it took the whole fucking staff to get me out of my bed, and I'm taking steps to like, come on, put one foot in front of the other. Put one foot in front of the I'm putting an arm in front of the other. I can't get it together. Finally, they get me into the bathroom and shut the door. I'm just in a whole nother realm right now. I have to piss so bad too, because it took me maybe an hour in real time just to get my hand up to actually get ready to go over there. So then I get to the bathroom. The door's closed. I'm by myself. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to pee now. I unzip my pants to take a piss. And I hope this doesn't happen to any other men out there, because this was a horrific thing. I look down, and my penis is castrated off myself.
So you look like a Ken doll right now.
No, I'm looking down. There's a scar over where my penis used to be. My dick's by my knee, and my balls are on the other side, and there's veins hanging out.
What?
And I'm tripping balls. So I look down, and I go, what the hell am I going to do?
You're literally
and then
tripping over
I know
your
that there's some nurses on the other side, so I'm like, do I tell them? Like, maybe they can help me out here. And for 10 seconds.
¿Dónde están mis huevos?
Yeah. So I just start shaking my head, looking down. It's still there. And then I go, okay, maybe this thing's just in my head. So I start blinking frantically. And maybe after about 10, 15 seconds of blinking, I look down, and everything's just right back on point. Which was quite a sense of relief, because for a few minutes there I was trying to figure out how I'm going to take a piss with
no pee-pee.
Yeah.
I always think about that when they cut the guy's dick off of Game of Thrones. How do the guys piss when they castrate dudes? Aaron, thoughts?
You still have your urethra, so unless that thing closes, you have something.
So what, do you just got a little vagina?
Essentially. It's a little smaller.
You just said that way too calm.
If I'm ever in New York and I get into a cab and it lights up, I know who my lifeline is. It's going to be Aaron. I'm going to call him and be like, dude, I got a decapitated penis. What do? He's still got a urethra.
Oh, are you on Cash Cab in this scenario?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ben Bailey follows me on Twitter. Whatever.
Oh, snap. Name dropper. Name dropper.
I'm just proud of that one.
And I've read the stats. Isn't it somewhere like 80% success rate
What is
of
success,
ibogaine from
Never to
from
do it again?
opiates, nicotine, and alcohol?
I don't think that's an actual stick. 'Cause I think what happens with it is after you're done with the experience, it holds like a heavy thing with you, but time can dissipate that depending on what circumstances you put yourself up within afterwards. Okay. So say there's somebody who's on opiates and they do that, and then they go back to their setting and they're with their friends who are doing dope all the time. That's like a ticking time bomb. But say maybe the opposite scenario, somebody goes back to their setting and then they start seeking some treatment. Maybe they go to some type of recovery meetings. They work a program or something.
You got to work
You got to put some action in.
It's not just, hey, I'm fixed.
Hey, I did ibogaine, and the rest of my life I'm just peachy cream. No, definitely not.
Now, when we were talking about this, I was like, what else, man? Because I was like, I've never done ibogaine. I was like, have you ever done peyote?
Yeah, I had a great peyote experience. There are some facilities out in Arizona where it's illegal if you become a member of a church. And I went out there last year. It was actually my last psychedelic experience. And I took 21.
Oh, you sound like you were in mourning there.
Yeah.
Let me hear this.
I took 21 grams of peyote out in the desert by myself and under a bonfire, just me and the peyote and a fire. And I fasted for 24 hours beforehand. Had about maybe an 18-hour experience on that peyote where it really opened up some doorways and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Has this affected the music you make? Because people that hear our intro, it's really got like a trippy vibe to it.
I've always been into the psychedelic music and all that, and yeah, I've definitely been inspired by those plant medicines, particularly the peyote. DMT is one that has helped influence a lot of my music as well.
Do you consider those drugs?
There's a fine line between that. I think there's plant medicines. They can be. It depends on how you're using them, I think. So if someone's going out to a party and taking them, you're using it kind of as a drug, as you're not using it as a tool to better yourself in any way. Usually when I've taken psychedelics, I do them by myself in like kind of my own setting, where it's like I'm using it as a learning tool. With Ibogaine, I would suggest to anybody who plans on using it, I specifically prayed to the spirit of the plant beforehand for certain things, and I did the same thing with peyote, and I do the same thing when I do a DMT experience. And I think setting is really important, and intention.
Well, dude, I've been fascinated to have this conversation. I'm glad that we got to get into some of this with you, and I know we only really scraped the surface of Mandela.
There's so much shit. I mean,
yeah,
there's
with
so
Mandela,
much
it's like
shit.
every week there's more stuff coming out, and then you got to cipher through some of the shit that's just absolute. Sounds like some bullshit, and there's stuff that's very.
For me,
real.
that's what you should do with everything in life. I mean, people don't do. What's so interesting? Next week is next episode's coming out on Wednesday. Is the Vegas shooting and stuff about that, and how like people just take like the official narrative as the reality of the situation, and based upon that is what we must like start to chip away at to find out what the truth is. And you question that just like you question like on Reddit. Like people think I'm nuts. We talked about it on the Patreon. Like Reddit is where I get my news. Now I don't hook, line, and sinker every moment of every post that's put out. I go through a filter. I question the people questioning.
Yeah, and think about the Vegas thing too. How quick was that narrative put out in front of you?
We're gonna get into that for sure. Yeah, that's a big part of the next thing.
Well, explain to. We're gonna end with your recent project that you've just put out. If you could explain everyone where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, everything, get all that, and then explain what we're about to lead out with.
Well, what we're about to check out is a version of the Star Spangled Banner.
I kind of want to talk through this because it is a visual, and we have a lot of our listeners.
We'll put links into
if you guys want to check me out, you can find me at www.whoisdetective47.com. You can follow me on Instagram /Detective47.
And what's behind this thing? Then we're gonna talk, and then we're gonna talk people through it as we end the show real quick. So, what is it's called Monitor Head, and what's going on in this video?
So Monitor Head is a character that I work with who is pretty much a man who has a TV monitor as his head. And this video is just the introduction to Monitor Head, a day in Los Angeles, going around interacting with different people all throughout LA and checking it out. And he's trying to get his opinion on this. He's pretty much just dropped into the planet as like an alien observer who's just checking out what's going on here in America.
What's
today.
the alien's name? Samsung?
Oh, he's Monitor Head.
A Monitor Head. I like it. Let's watch a little bit of this.
And so you're playing the instruments in here, correct?
Oh, this is all me.
All right, cool.
And this is going to be a song that's on my album I'm working on. It's called Almost Feel Human, State of the Union.
And it's a very interesting video. I love how you shot it because you went to some of the more interesting parts of Los Angeles where...
And what I'm thinking, if anyone can take anything away with today's episode, is look up from your cell phone when you're at a coffee house and actually interact with people, because you never know. Like, I would never have met you if we didn't just start having a conversation. And now
and
we're
look
friends.
where we are now.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, 47.
So you went around and what you kind of do on this is interview like what's going on in the country.
See, certain things just fell into place. Like that scene, I happened to just walk by.
It's a young Latino.
It's a young Latin woman going to school who's doing a project on the First Amendment. So it was just the perfect thing to have in the video. So we go up to her, and she was happy to do the shot. These were some homeless people living under Silver Lake Boulevard over in Silver Lake.
So sad.
This is over in Chinatown. Yeah, we went to a lot of the areas. This is Skid Row right here. I wanted to show the different areas of Los Angeles. Well, it's all in Los Angeles, but to show the darker side of what's going on. You have a lot of people don't understand that in Skid Row you have a whole community.
Tent City, dude.
It's like
Tent City, dude. It really makes me sad.
Yeah. You know what I found out that's interesting though is in San Francisco they don't even let the homeless have tents. So a lot of them come down here.
And that's why I fucking hate. Listen, man. And we're gonna put a link to this in the show description. What is this scene, by the way?
This is supposed to be like the dystopia, like the youth right here, youth culture, just sitting there, kind of.
This is
the politician scene right here.
There'll be links in the show notes, both in the
I
YouTube
miss those televisions, by the way.
and iTunes.
I miss those televisions. We're gonna have this here. I wanted to talk real quick about the San Francisco and we're gonna end on this. The San Francisco and how they're like this beacon of like liberalism and Berkeley and all this stuff, yet they have a crippling homeless problem. They get offended by words upset them as they step over homeless people who can't even afford to live in the city anymore. And that is the problem people have with elitism, man. They get angry about words, but they don't get angry about where people, humans, other Americans, where they are in their lives. And it's bullshit. I'd much rather go do Tampa in Florida or go do Dallas in Texas than play in San Francisco.
Well,
and even though we got a lot of
Francisco,
listeners in San Francisco, and I'm not being anything against them, but there's this big fucking movement, man. There's this thing about words, and people getting upset about words, so it makes them feel that they're more connected with people. And reality is, you have a crippling drug and homeless problem. And the last thing you got to worry about are jokes and words and this fascism. Like, fascism's wrong. What you're going at, like, why would you ever want to go to Berkeley for school? Like, school's about going to college, about learning, interacting, meeting people, getting drunk, doing drugs, fucking shit, expanding your mind, sticking your dick in weird shit. That's what, to me, school is college is about. I learned more about how to interact with human beings than I did from any book I ever fucking read in college.
So let me ask you this. How would you, if you were to perform at Berkeley, say this weekend, would you be nervous about the comments you'd make doing some stand-up?
I would not take that gig.
Yeah.
I would rather take the gig blowing the donkey for 100 G's than I would to go do a gig in Berkeley. I don't want to play colleges anymore because those kids haven't lived any life at all. They are coming from a strictly idealistic view of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
In which these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, these are the oppressed people, these are the oppressors, and that's how they see people. It's my joke I do. Everybody should have to work at Denny's for 2 years after high school. You should have to go work the night shift at Denny's and just have the universe shit on your chest for 2 fucking years. And then you can come talk to me about mean jokes.
Yeah.
We just had a woman accuse David Cross of being a racist because she's Asian, and he said ching chong, ching chong.
That comment, 10 years ago, right?
10
on that
years ago, man.
And think about David Cross's whole stick is,
Yeah, I mean, he's not known as the nicest guy in the world, but still, I don't give it. 10 years ago? 10 years ago. Now, this is...
So what is he... Are they expecting him to make a public apology now?
Yeah, he did.
He
and
did.
They're still calling him out on it. He apologized so quickly, they didn't even get time to flog him. I'll never apologize.
Well, isn't that the thing that a lot of people are coming out now before... Because they know they're going to get hit, like the whole Weinstein thing with Affleck and Damon. I think it was Affleck came out.
His brother is notoriously an asshole.
Yeah.
His brother, I've heard that for years. It treats women like shit on there. I've heard stuff about Louis C.K. I've heard stuff about a bunch of fucking people. And that they're jerking off in front of people and they're locking doors. You know what, dude? Time to go, bro. Time to go.
And on the flip side of that, I mean, it's so easy for us to think of Hollywood stars and all these people as our modern-day pantheon of gods. I had the chance randomly to meet Denzel Washington. Like, he just came into a place where I was working, and I was like, oh, shit, King Kong ain't got shit on me. He was the nicest dude. He hung out and just talked to me for like 10 minutes like a normal person.
Nice.
So, I mean, we all think that these are untouchables and they're all weirdos like Clooney and whatnot, but there's still some sweethearts out there. And hey, Denzel, I know you listen to Tinfoil Hat, so call in anytime. We're waiting for you to be in here.
And I don't want people in San Francisco to think I don't like them. I just find that the attitude, because they're known as being politically correct, really upsetting when you have a crippling homeless problem. I think you take care of people, then you worry about feelings.
San Francisco has an app that you can get for your phone so that you can find out where human feces is. So you can avoid those streets because they're just covered in human feces. That's the type of homeless problem they have. LA, definitely Skid Row has a population
Crippling.
of 17,000 estimated.
That's
homeless
more
people.
than my hometown.
Isn't
Well, I
that
think we
crazy?
have more homeless people than San Francisco, New York, and Chicago combined here. But I've heard stories that in certain cities like St. Paul, Minnesota, in the past they would just give their homeless a ticket on the Greyhound and just ship them down here. And
Yeah.
they'd be like-
Well, we
they'd
have
show
a
up that you know where they show up is 7th and Alameda down there, and that's right in that neighborhood.
There's got to be a way to help these people. I just don't get it, man. But with that said, it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, I want to put the challenge out to you guys. Look up from your phone, interact with people. You never know who you're going to meet. You just might have a new friend by the end of the day.
Detective 47, you were wonderful. Guys, this has been a great episode. We could have gone on forever for all this stuff. Some people are going to remember it correctly. Most people aren't. It goes back and forth. It was a great episode. We so appreciate you coming on, Detective 47.
Thanks for having me.
We'd love to have you on again. Ryan, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. November 8th, the next live podcast with the Higher Side Chats, Greg Carlwood, and our good friend, Eddie Bravo. We'll see you guys on the other side.